Good morning, team. How are you doing? So, today we're going to have a virtual meeting. And what that means is I'm going to send this video to you, and you're going to listen to it along with some other resources that I'm going to attach. And we're going to go over the agenda for the most part because we have met religiously through the month of January as grade levels. I decided to kind of go this route with the department meeting. So I attached the agenda so you can pull up the agenda. The first thing we're going to talk about is lesson planning, of course, making sure that all of your lesson plans are up to date and loaded into the SLAM OneDrive. I will be checking those things to make sure those things are in place, as well as some grading concerns. We just did the grade submission process, and going through your grades, there are just some things that I need you to be mindful of. One, with your ESE and ESOL students, please make sure that all of your accommodations are not just done but documented. Because if you're going to have a student that is failing, then we need to be able to show that we have done everything that we are supposed to do to make sure that we have accommodated that student for success. So if you haven't contacted the parent, if you haven't done all of the things that the IEP says to have been done, if you have not made sure that all of those accommodations have been met, documented, parents have been given an opportunity to come in and join the process. If all of those things have not been done, then that student should not be failing. So as we're going into this next quarter, the third quarter, please be mindful of those little things because they're very necessary for making sure that our students are able to succeed and do well. Other departmental issues, making sure that we're increasing our complexity and rigor. We want to make sure not just giving them more problems, but that we're giving them problems that actually test the skills that we're looking for. You know, we want to increase the complexity of the equations because for seventh grade, because they've gone over equations before. So now as we're using those equations in the geometry section, make sure that you're giving them complex equations, not just simple 2x and 3x, but 2x minus 7 plus 4, you know, make it a little bit more complex. And we're counting down to testing. So at this point, we have about maybe 50. I think the last date I gave you guys was like 57. I think we're somewhere around maybe 52, really close to that 50 mark. So we're counting down. We have these last sessions to make the impact that we need to make. I know that the intensive teachers have kind of gone back and restarted the curriculum to review some of those things that they started at the beginning of the year. The core classes, we're moving forward, making sure that we cover all the curriculum. By the time we get to spring break, the curriculum will have been covered at least twice for our students. So again, I'm not really concerned about those level ones and level twos because really they're being double dosed. It is those threes, fours, and fives that we really need to focus on. So in our core classes, we have to make sure that we are going above and beyond and that we're making complex, rigorous assignments, complex, rigorous lessons, you know, so that we are hitting those top kids. So that we're not aiming for the low kids. We're not aiming for our level ones and level twos because there's already a plan in place for them and they're being handled. It's those threes, fours, and fives that now we have to plan with them in mind. Don't plan in mind with the students who, well, they're not going to get it. This and no. Plan in mind for the students who are going to get it, who need to be taken to the next level. Now, as far as our data, so we all got one of these when we sat in our grade level meetings, and everyone kind of got their individual data, and you saw your individual students. The question now becomes, what are we going to do? So for our February meeting, what I need you to do is I need you to go through and identify your red students, your yellow students, and your green students. And then come up with a plan of how, a plan of attack of how we're going to handle making sure that those red and those yellow students are prepared for the test in the 50 something odd days that we have going forward. And it's pretty much just looking at an overview of who those students are that are in the red and yellow and what do they need. The green students, you know, we're excited and we're going to keep them moving. But those red and yellow students, specifically those red students, those yellow students who were a 3, 4, or 5 as of their testing last year. Because if they were a 3, 4, or 5 in their testing last year and they don't become a 3, 4, or 5 in their testing this year, we have a problem. There are a number of students who were 3s, 4s, and 5s who are now being listed as a level 2. That is problematic. And that's why, again, when I talk about increasing complexity and rigor, those are the students that we need to plan with in mind. Okay. So for our next meeting in February, which will probably happen around the third week in February, please plan to come with your strategies and ideas of how you're targeting these students and what you're doing to make sure that those red students don't stay red. Yellow students go into green. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about, and just this is just a teaching strategy, and as I've been in classes lately, some things that I'm noticing. One, we have to start really giving our students an overview of where we're going. So what I did is I just pulled a quick video off of the teaching channel that talks about ways to start a lesson, ways to engage a kid in where we're going. Because what I'm finding as I'm doing sometimes the observations that I'm coming in and I'm looking is we're jumping right into the lesson and everybody take your notebooks out and everybody let's get started without taking 5 minutes, and it doesn't take long, 5 to 10 minutes to just engage the students and where we're going and what we're doing. It's almost called, well, not almost, it's called lesson opener. And so how are you opening up a lesson to hook the students, to get their attention at the very beginning? Because if you get their attention at the very beginning and hook them in the lesson, then it's easier to get them tied into what you're about to teach them, because now they know how this is going to apply and what they're going to do with it. So I attached the video just to give you some strategies, some ideas of how to open up a lesson so that students are hooked into what you're about to teach them. And lastly, I just want to talk about timing, and I put it in the agenda as timing is everything. Take care of self. This is the part of the year where we really start to experience burnout, and the kids are starting to feel frustrated, and they're tired of seeing I ready, and we're tired of giving I ready. So this is the time to really focus on making sure that you are taking care of yourself. That on the weekends when you are off, yes, we do have to lesson plan, and yes, we have to do so, take the time to do those things. But in those weekends, enjoy life, enjoy yourself. Don't go home contemplating, worrying, going crazy about the students that you're going to see on Monday. Take some time to enjoy your family, take some time to enjoy your life, take some time to relax. Again, we have done a lot of work this year. We still have a lot of work to do, but we have accomplished quite a bit. So in those off times and those down times, take a moment to just really relax. So when you leave here, leave SLAM here. When you leave here, leave that student here, and really enjoy the things that make life worth living. So when you come back, you are recharged and ready to take on the challenge. All right, so this has been our January meeting. Our agenda items, again, when you prepare for the February meeting, please have the information about your data so that we're prepared to come into that February meeting just talking ideas and really putting all these ideas on the table and collaborating in what we're going to do for the next three months or so before the kids take the test. All right, you guys have a great one.